Oh,
The
here we
pick
go.
is in, and I'm hearing it's a spicy pick. Commissioner, you ready?
I am ready. And with the 13th pick in the MTV Sports Mock Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select
Spicy.
Buccaneers
I'm
on
a
the clock.
spicy or silly.
Wow.
Very F.
Hey, one time for the home team. Know what I mean?
I rep for the home team.
Rep it up.
Reppin' the home team.
Rep it
I
up.
reppin' the home team. Yeah, you think you can hold me?
Wow.
Reppin' the home team.
Wow.
Going in OT. I'm reppin' the home.
Hey, how y'all doing? It's Rick here with MTMV Sports. I am geeked today to be joined by so many of the best podcasters around. We have podcasters around. We have artists, musicians. We have just a phenomenal group of individuals who's going to help us with our very first MTMV mock draft. It's a 2020 mock draft. We're going to try our best to give you at least some semblance of what it feels like, what it should feel like that night. Everybody, look, at this point, it's so cool because we're all kind of on the same playing field, right? ESPN will do it the same way. A lot of people have to do it the same way due to the situation that we're in. So we're gonna do our best to give you a good semblance of what it'll feel like on that night, with great analysis, some great trades that have already taken place, and I said great for a reason. And a lot of other stuff that we're going to do tonight, man. So we're geeked to be here today. We got Joe Burrow as the first pick in the draft. Let's talk about it. Go for it. Open up the floor. Let's get our first analysis from Jay Stevens. Talk to me, sir.
It's a no-brainer. The year that he had last year, he put up numbers we never saw before. We have not seen. I know there was a Hawaii quarterback that put us with great numbers, but Joe Burrow, 15-0, going from Ohio, Northeast Ohio kid, down to LSU, never started really till he got to LSU, and then got there first year at LSU starting, kind of blah. Then last year, off the charts. The Bengals need a quarterback. It seemed like it was a match made in heaven. Joe Burrow to Cincinnati. Go back home, man.
All right. Dr. Silva, how do you grade that pick?
Yeah, I love Joe Burrow. I think he's a great quarterback. He's kind of the complete package. If you think about a college quarterback who's coming from a pro system that really transformed that offense with great pieces around him. You can have great pieces around a team, and to be offensive end, you got to have a mastermind playing quarterback and under the snap. So I love it. You just got to hope that it's not Johnny Manziel 2.0, and it's not somebody who can, be big in the spotlight in college and then kind of wither away. And for the Bengals' sake, you got to hope that they really splash here at number one.
All right. I'm hearing that the pick is in. The pick is in, Commissioner.
With the second pick in the MTMV Sports Mock Draft, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young, defensive end, The Ohio State University.
I will let that run for a second, guys. Let's go to that pick was made by Steph. Talk to us, Steph. Talk to us, Shep. How did you feel? Why'd you make that pick?
Man, this was a no-brainer, man. Arguably the best athlete in the draft right now. With us bringing in Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio as a D coordinator, we're switching to a 4-3. Man, we just showed up our defensive line, man. So we drafted Montez Sweat last year. We got the two Alabama boys in the middle with Matt Ioannidis. The pass rush is going to be crazy this year, man. We're going to get after the quarterback in the NFC East, and we just showed that up with Chase Young.
I love it. Let's open up the floor, guys. Let's talk about it. I want to hear from.
I like the pick.
Go ahead, Westside. Go ahead, Westside.
I just want to say I really like the pick. I don't know if y'all know this, but he played basketball with Markelle Fultz, so you know this kid's an athlete. Got a great vertical jump. I think he had a not 40, but a 39-inch vertical leap. The dude is amazing. So somebody coming off that edge that can jump and block those passes, trying to go ahead and fit into those tight spaces. I see this guy dominating. He reminds me of a young, fresh Julius Peppers. The kid's fantastic. and he wears number 2, so you know he's a special. Because when you do the single numbers, you know he's a special guy.
All right, let's open up the floor, everybody. Let's talk. How do you guys grade that pick?
Look, I honestly think that it's a solid pick for them. Just as was mentioned earlier, probably the most talented person in the draft. The problem for the Redskins are they need so much help, right? So is it just going to be focusing on that D-line? Of course, you know, the lines win championship. But what's going on the offensive line? I mean, they've got so many holes to fill. Great selection. I just wonder if it's enough to really change the tides this year. But it's a great building piece for them. Overall, solid pick.
All right, John, talk to me. How you feel about it? Oh, Will, go ahead. Talk to me.
No, I just want to say you can find offensive linemen later in the draft, and that also depends on coaching too, how well your offensive line coach is. But you can find some talent later in the draft. So I mean, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer pick. He's a very good player. Like when I saw him playing with Ohio State, and he just come in and just wreak havoc. And so it's a real good pickup for Washington. Like you said, they got the good D line going. They just got Kendall Fuller, took him from my Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? They got him on the back end in the secondary. So Washington going to be a pretty good defensive team. Maybe better than pretty good.
All right, let me ask this question to Dr. Ernest. Let's talk really quick, man. Do you think at all the Lions should have thought about selecting Tua here?
God, that's such a good question. It just kind of depends on how much you believe in Matthew Stafford at this point in his career. I love the Texas product. Obviously, being from the Lone Star State, it's all I follow is Texas athletes moving up the chain. And so you got to believe that with Stafford having it's a tough division to win, and let's just point that out. But no, I think you have to ride. I'm a personal believer that Stafford's a winner. I believe you can put the ball in his hands. He's had clutch possessions in his hands when you give him a chance. Lions defense usually what's letting them down, and that defense might have taken a step back well. So you gotta like what they're doing in Detroit with the offense. I'd stick with Stafford here. I don't think I would go Tua myself.
Rich, can I talk on that for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, there's no reason for the Lions to move up to number 2, though, right? I mean, there's no suspicion that the Redskins would take anyone but Chase Young. So why waste picks, right?
I think the scare for the Redskins taking Tua, though, it could be a legitimate one. It's not the one that's often talked about, but I mean, if anybody was watching, we saw Haskins just completely lose confidence. I mean, he kept slinging it, you know, to his credit. But in terms of just what Jay Gruden was doing in terms of managing him, you don't know what kind of player that you're going to be getting next year. I'm not saying that should be cause for the Redskins to not allow Dwayne Haskins to kind of develop this year, but there's definitely a chance that the Redskins could take Tua. So that's what I would think prompt the Lions to jump up one pick, but it's not necessary here, especially when you have a Matt Stafford. So I agree with you. Not enough of a threat, but there's probably still an inkling of a threat. So that's why they would make the move.
Yeah, and if you're the Redskins and you have Ron Rivera at the helm, you've got to think, you know, progressing Dwayne Haskins and fitting him into a scheme for his running ability and his ability to utilize his legs at the same time, get out of the part of their scheme, and why you bring in Ron Rivera, because he's had experience already with Cam Newton. So.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, the pick is in.
With the third pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Detroit Lions select Jeff Okudah, cornerback, The Ohio State University.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I actually made that pick. I'm gonna tell you why I made that pick here. So let's talk about that for a second. So
it's a solid pick too, though.
Say it again.
So that's a solid pick.
Great pick.
look, here's the reason why I made the pick. We lose Darius Slay. I personally, right, if I'm a part of that, I didn't want to lose Slay. I love Slay. I think he's a phenomenal playmaker. But at the same time, like, I completely understand having to go ahead and fix that. Like, we have to kind of do something there. Now, what we did was we made some selections. We made a pickup. We picked up the cornerback from the Atlanta Falcons. Somebody give me his name really quick.
Desmond Trufant.
Desmond Trufant, right. So we picked up Desmond Trufant, and Desmond Trufant I think he's a solid corner. He's not a number one though, which I think any Saints fan have seen over the course of the last few years. We've seen that he's somebody who you can pick on a little bit, and you can abuse him a little bit because of his size. So I want a true number one, and I want a true number one cornerback. If we're going to lose a true number one, a playmaker in Darius Slay, then I go back in and I select Jeff Okudah here. Now, we could have went a couple different directions. You know what I mean? We definitely we're good on the outside. However, we could use, some a linebacker we could use, but that's just way too high for a linebacker. We could use a defensive tackle. It's way too high for that. Well, it's not way too high. Derrick Brown is there, but I think Jeff Okudah is the safest pick here. Guys, go ahead and judge me.
I don't think that there's much judgment to be had there. I think the same thing you can say, there's actually something you can say for both of these last two defensive picks, that one thing that they're not often talked about is also their support in the run game. Like Chase Young is a fantastic run supporter, something that he does very well, and Jeff Okudah is somebody that's very willing in the run game. He's a slender guy, and he's somebody that can potentially run into some issues in trying to tackle at the NFL level, but if he's able to put on a little bit of that bulk, add a little bit to his frame, he's somebody that's willing to get involved there. These are both guys that are, and Jeff Okudah in particular is somebody that's a vocal leader. Something you need for that secondary that's actually got some pretty nice talent around it. I think that he's a great addition to what Detroit might be able to start to build here as they move forward, whether it be with Matthew Stafford for now or whatever it is they build for.
I love it. So I thought I was cool with the pick. Let me hear from Jay. Jay, how you feel about that, man? Like, judge me.
No, nothing to judge there. You lose Darius Slay. You have Okudah and Chase Young. Those are two guys that don't come around all the time. Chase Young with his speed, he has to work with his hands a little bit, get more technically sound, like the Bosa's are. But that'll come with pro reps and pro practice and things like that. But Okudah's a guy that during a season you're thinking, oh, you're going to hear a lot about the number one corners from all the colleges. Okudah just shuts whoever's in front of him down. It doesn't matter who it is. You saw in the Clemson game, he shuts guys down. And I think losing a Darius Slay, you have Matthew Stafford, who I actually believe in, and you're trying to win. You're trying to keep going forward. You're trying to show up at back end on the defense. You can't go wrong with Jeff Okudah at all.
Hey, can I say something, man? The development of Ohio State players is amazing to me.
Preach.
Oh, my God.
Preach.
Those guys, they can develop players. Oh, my Lord. And the type of athlete that comes out of there is amazing.
And see, one thing I want to add, too, when just watching him play, he reminds me a little bit of two cornerbacks. Darrelle Reeves, where he can lock you down. And also, when he plays in coverage, he reminds me of Richard Sherman a little bit. Like, he studies the game to where like he knows, okay, this receiver is only good for this type of route. So that's a good pickup for Detroit, honestly.
Love it. Guys, the pick is in.
With the fourth pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the New York Giants select Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, Clemson University.
Woo!
Woo!
Here we go. We're shaking up a little bit. This is a bit of a shake-up. Talk to me, Playmaker. You pick for the Giants. Talk to me. Why'd you make that selection?
Look, true to my name, if you are going to sit there and take Jeff Okudah, and defense is what we need. Giants ranked 30th in defense last year. We've been longing for a signal caller, a young, fresh one that we could develop, has already shown some great playmaking ability. Isaiah Simmons is a pick, a freakish athlete, can line up on the edge, can basically go ahead, stay inside, can basically go ahead, match up with tight ends really well, can even take the slot wide receiver. I mean, he's got so much flexibility. He's got so much versatility to his game. He's got speed. He's got some of the intangibles, maybe a little over aggressive. That's okay. He could be taught in time. But I think Isaiah Simmons is the unequivocal pick for the Giants at this point in time. Would pair nicely with a Blake Martinez. who I'm not the biggest fan of, but there's definitely stability. A good short tackler. I think shoring up the linebacker situation in New York is one that's absolutely necessary to start building some success.
I love it. All right, let's go to Kev. Preach, Kev, preach. Talk to me, sir. What do you feel about that pick?
For me, Isaiah Simmons is one of the best players in the draft, but I believe that the Giants need to go a different direction because you invest too much in the quarterback, you invest too much in the running back when you draft those guys in the top 10 back-to-back years. When you have Willis on the board, you have Wirfs on the board. You need to protect the investments. And Isaiah Simmons, yes, he might be one of the lifetime type of players, but I don't believe that Dave Gettleman and the rest of the coaching staff on the Giants with Joe Judge and them guys, I don't think they can put him in the right situation to succeed. When you have a guy who can be everything, if you don't put him in the right situation like Clemson did, how much can he be? Can he be that Hall of Famer, being a top 5 pick, or would you rather just invest in an offensive lineman where Daniel Jones fumbled the ball 13 plus times? So it's like I feel like you need to help that man because you got Saquon Barkley. So protect the investments.
I love it. Let's hear from the other half of the Prophets. John, talk to me, sir.
Yeah, I would disagree just because, as he said, you got Wirfs and Willis, so you really can't say who's the best offensive lineman. So depending upon how you grade them, and of course, offensive linemen, they don't always translate to the NFL. So one guy could be a buzz. Then you still have people thinking like how Becton's rising up the board. So when you got the 4th pick, like he just said, the defense is atrocious. Go ahead and take the sure thing, and you can move him around on defense, so you can fix a lot of defensive needs with just one player. So if I was drafting at 4, I would have took Simmons as well.
All right, guys, I'm hearing that the pick is in for the Dolphins. I think the pick is in. Let's hear from one more person. Let me hear from Ryan. Ryan, talk to me, sir. Ryan Cameron, talk to me.
I think it's a good pick. I'm on board with it. Isaiah Simmons, outside of Derrick Brown, in my opinion, is the best player available here. They have a quarterback which they think they can work with in the future. So for me, I think Isaiah Simmons is a great pick here. I'd give it an A+ or A-. Let's be fair.
You say A-?
A-.
Wow. What's the minus about?
The minus is about, I personally don't believe in New York's offense. I don't believe in their quarterback. This is a once every 20-year, 15-year type quarterback draft. If you don't believe in your quarterback, you have a top 5 pick. Me personally, if I'm sitting in New York, I don't believe in my quarterback. I'm taking Tua or Justin here, but that's probably why I'm not running a front office.
It's a great point to be had. And as a Giants fan, I've got to tell you the temptation is there. I think that there's too much of an investment on Daniel Jones, and he showed too well to be ballsy enough to take that pick at that point in time, or to move him or have some type of plan. I think he developed well enough. He showed well enough to at least stick around for a couple more years, which is why you have to overlook Tua. But I'll tell you personally, as a Tua fan, and I think Tua's got the intangibles, you could make a splash with a guy like Tua, and hey, you might need to cut your losses with Daniel Jones, but I think you could also fetch a pretty penny for him too. So tough predicament. I agree with you, but too much of an investment on Daniel Jones.
And that's my point. What could you get for Daniel Jones? Could you pull out a 2nd, 3rd round pick for him? And if you could,
the pick is in.
Why not, right? Oh no, I was just saying if the right pick is available for Daniel Jones to be able to sneak up and make that splash, bring Tua into New York, I think he'd play great under the lights in New York, which is a very pressure-filled city to play in front of, and I think he'd be ready for it. So I love the pick. I really do. I think Isaiah Simmons is a great pick there. I would have just went quarterback.
All right, the pick is in, guys. Voyze, are you ready, sir?
We are. And with the 5th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select tied to that guy, quarterback, Alabama University.
Tua Tagovailoa.
That's what he said. That's
Miles for the save. All right. We got the commissioner. Talk to his commission. Well, not commission. I'm sorry. Talk to his GM. Why'd you make that selection? Why is it Tua here?
Man, look, the tank for Tua is successful for the Miami Dolphins. They need help. They need so much help. And now, if I were the true GM, I would love to take a chance on Cam, bring Cam in, and then maybe I go offensive line. But Tua is simply too talented, too smart. There are concerns, obviously, some injury concerns. He's passing all of his tests with flying colors so far. The Miami Dolphins need a little bit of excitement. I think that you've got 3 picks in the first round. There's some other needs that could be addressed, but you can't pass up on what I believe to be one of the once-in-a-lifetime quarterbacks. Could completely change the franchise up. Even if he needs to sit for a little bit, he's got a great mentor in Ryan Fitzpatrick, a mobile quarterback. Even the Amish, arm rifle at this point in time can still show him what the old wheels are about. He can show him, the tricks of the trade. He could certainly develop under a Ryan Fitzpatrick and take the league by storm, probably the second half of the year, if that's even needed. But I think he steps in day one. He provides a lot of excitement, and the Miami Dolphins are really happy at this point in time.
All right, let's open up the floor. Grade the pick.
As a Dolphins fan, man, I love this pick. I'm excited, man. I can't wait for the real thing to happen. But yeah, man, he brings enough to the table to where we could go ahead and win some games. I don't think he's a day one starter for a little bit. I think he does come in mid-season if the starter actually starts messing up. So,
all right, guys, let me hear from Hi-Lite. We haven't heard from Hi-Lite in a minute. Hi-Lite, how you feel about this pick, man?
I love it for the Dolphins, actually. As we all know, they definitely need a QB, and I might disagree on if he doesn't start right away. He actually might. I could see him actually starting this thing from start to finish. It's not like they really have much to lose at this point. They're in a great direction with the staff and the organization, headed in a better direction right now. So why not go ahead and what better way than putting faith in somebody that's going to be the future? Let him go out there, have his growing pains, and maybe in some cases he might actually even just shine right off the top and be like a Deshaun Watson or somebody, just keep opening his eyes and ears. So I definitely give it a solid A for the Dolphins, man. It's a good pick.
I gotta hear from Vonora. I haven't heard from Vonora in a second. I need to hear what Vonora felt because Vonora, I know she likes the Giants. I know she loves the Giants. I want to hear about what's going on, how you felt about that Isaiah Simmons pick, and then how do you feel about this last pick with Tua going to Miami?
Well, I'm personally excited about the Isaiah pick because I feel like our defense is in terrible shape, and he would definitely add to our defense and make it stronger. I am a fan of Danny Dimes, so I believe in Danny, and I'm going to ride with Danny until this team blows up. And now when it comes with this pick, Tua, yes, Dolphins need a quarterback. I was hoping that Cam would go there or New England. That was my personal choices, but they desperately need a quarterback. Fitzmagic is only on one or two games this season, and there's 17 games. So it's definitely time for a change in that direction.
All right, I hear the pick is in.
With the 6th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Justin Herbert, quarterback, University of Oregon.
Justin Herbert.
Panthers are now on the clock.
All right. Herbert's gone. All right, let me hear from you. Why'd you make that selection, sir?
It was almost it all started with the release to not re-signing Phillip Rivers. We were left into a situation where we have to get a quarterback. ESPN sent out seven cameras to 58 different cameras. So 7 of them were going to quarterbacks. Joe Burrow's gone, Tua's gone, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jake Fromm, Jacob Eason, and Jalen Hurts. Yeah, there are many other needs that the Chargers have, quarterback being the main one at the moment. I can't go with Joe. I can't go with Tua. I already have my question marks about Tua anyway, if he was available with his injury concerns. And I recently have done some deeper look into that. His injuries, they scare me. I don't want to bring a guy in that's injury prone. There are even injuries that weren't listed on the depth chart, on the injury report at any time during the season. They happened in the offseason. They kind of pushed those under the rug. Jordan Love, I don't think he's a day one starter. I don't think he'll start year number 1 at all. Jake Fromm, I don't believe in him. Jacob Eason will probably start year 2, maybe. And then Jalen Hurts, I'm not sure what he's going to be as a quarterback in the NFL. I kind of had to take the next guy that was there, next guy available. The guy that I could trust to start, if possible, in year 1 will be Justin Herbert. Don't think he's a day 1 starter, but I believe at some point throughout the season, Tyrod Taylor will move aside, and Justin Herbert will be the starter at some point throughout this upcoming season.
I think this is a stupid pick. I'm sorry for the spice, but
ain't no spice. Oh,
because
we about look. Let's go to blows then. Let's go to blows. Tell me why you think it's bad, and back that up. If you saying that, back that up.
I'm backing it up with offensive line, because your offensive line has been atrocious. Phillip Rivers literally had to run for his life, even though he couldn't run. So to put somebody back there, another guy back there, for them to run for their life is just it's crazy. So you have offensive tackle or offensive tackle out of Louisville that y'all can get. This guy, I forget his name, but oh my God, the guy is a monster, and he's protecting the quarterback. Y'all need an offensive lineman, so y'all should go offensive line. I'm sorry, y'all. Getting a quarterback's not y'all move right now. The quarterback that y'all need to get, unfortunately, because I really want them to sign with the Miami Dolphins, is Cam Newton, but that's the quarterback that y'all need. Go get Cam Newton, get you off in the line. Maybe y'all can do something. I'm sorry.
You are reading my man. You're reading my report, because that's exactly what I would say. I know a lot of people would like to blame Phillip Rivers for the Chargers' struggles. It's simply not the case. If anybody was watching any games like I was, he had zero time. He had negative time to throw. Negative time to throw last year. They need offensive line help. Herbert is good, in my opinion, not great. Now, I may be proven wrong. That's perfectly fine. But Cam Newton will be a great solution there. He's at least a little bit mobile. You get the offensive line. You shore that up. And, you've got talented receivers. Yes. You've got Keenan Allen. You've got Mike Williams. You've got Hunter Henry. You've got Austin Eckler out of the backfield. That team is ready. Offensive line issues would have had Phillip Rivers there for another 2 years, balling in the playoffs. Okay? Fix that up. Offensive line is the way to go. Otherwise, they're going to be suffering for a couple of years.
Well said.
Facts.
So am I the only one here who thinks Cam Newton is finished? Like, Cam is done. I don't understand the love affair with Cam. He's done. All the surgeries, all the injuries, all the hits. Cam is finished. He should stay for
Change the scenery.
Change the scenery. The Chargers are built the same way Carolina's built. It's 2 receivers, it's a pass catching running back, and it's a trash O-line. It won't change anything.
Sir, you can leave this group now if you want to. I will not have this Cam disrespect here.
Right now, I'm with you on the Cam thing. I think Cam is done as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait.
Fade me. I want to see the hands.
We need to just catch me outside.
I don't think he's.
You talking mad spicy over Zoom, bro?
Look. Does Cam return to 2015 MVP status? Probably not, right? Yeah. But he was showing great signs of improvement. While he was healthy, his pass completion percentage was perfectly fine, in line with where he needed to be until he got injured. And the line didn't do him any favors either. You could talk about his receiver talent. It's good. It's not great. DJ Moore is great. They've they've got to still develop. They're still young, but you've got seasoned veterans. You've got growing talent over there in Los Angeles. I mean, the change of scenery might do Cam some good, and the year of health might do him some good as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go with it. That's why I wanted to go with it. I think that time off is going to help him. Getting a change of scenery is going to help him refocus. Again, he's not going to go back to 2015 Cam, but if you pick up Cam here in free agency and then go through the draft and pick up some of the best offensive tackles to protect, one of the best offensive tackles to protect him, you're moving in the right direction. I think somebody said it earlier. Fixing that O-line would have helped Phillip Rivers stay around for another couple of years. So, yeah, you don't go quarterback here.
And Cam got LA drip. Cam got LA drip, man. He's so LA, man. LA drip, baby.
Man, LA all the way to the shoes, cuz for real.
All the way to the locals. He don't wear shoes. He
with no socks.
A romper.
I got the pick is in. The pick is in.
With the 7th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Carolina Panthers select Derrick Brown, defensive tackle out of Auburn University. The Cardinals are on the
All right. Big pick by Ross Jackson. Talk to us, sir. Defend your pick.
Yeah, man. I had a lot of different ways that I could go here since somebody took Isaiah Simmons from me. But with that being the case, and of course, if you're gonna, right? But look, when it comes down to it, that defense definitely needs some help, and the offensive line could use some help too. They did bring in a trade Russell Okung in the offseason, but in order to do that, they gave up a Pro Bowler, 5-time Pro Bowler, 5-time Pro Bowler in Trey Turner out of LSU. So I was looking at going offensive line here, but really where that they need the most help and where guys like Kyle Allen, Will Greer, and Cam Newton have got pestered most by the Carolina offensive line was up the middle and in the interior. And it's just a little bit too early to go for an offensive lineman here. So with the depth of offensive linemen really and the sort of the, let me say, the weight of offensive linemen really paying off in the 2nd and 3rd rounds more into day 2, I decided to go over to the defensive side. And if I couldn't address the 2nd level, I'm going to address the trenches, continue to let the team get better with the hog mollies, as New York would call them. So I'm always looking for those guys. And you get a guy who's 6'4", 320 plus pounds that can play from 0 to 5 tech and project as a Pro Bowler at any of those places. A little bit more of a run stopper than he is a pass rusher, but I'm okay with looking at the idea of trying to control the game, control tempo by controlling an opponent's run game. I'm totally okay with that and controlling some tempo over on the defensive side. So for the Panthers, I go with Derrick Brown out of Auburn.
Nice. Very nice.
Solid pick.
That was it. Yeah, that's a former GM. That's a Gettleman pick right there.
It's
a solid pick, man. You just lost Luke Kuechly to retirement, and then you just lose 2 I think interior linemen as well. You got to replenish that, man. You got to replenish that defense.
And right now, actually, we had a trade. We had a big time trade, and right now the Browns are actually on the clock. The Browns are on the clock. I'll give you the details of the trade in just a second, but actually the Browns are on the clock. Let's continue grading this one and then get to the next pick, and I'll explain the trade, but the Browns are actually on the clock. Let me hear from Miles Austin.
We're looking at the last pick.
Yep.
Derrick Brown. I think it definitely is a solid pick. I think when you're looking about somebody with that size, I think you said he was 6'4", 300 plus. I think that's somebody who's able to move. He's definitely good. He believes he's the best in the draft. Obviously, a lot of us are going to talk about Chase Young, but at the same time, he's solid. He's solid against the run block. He's definitely solid against and I mean he's a little less on the side of pass rushing, however, but I think he's going to be solid. That team needs somebody to get after the quarterback. I think a lot of the teams what need in this draft is going to be defense. A lot of people are looking for quarterbacks or wide receivers, maybe running backs, solid running backs, such as like a DeAndre Smith or something of that sort. But defense is being weared out and it wins championships. And you can get solid people on that line to get after the quarterback. Your team looks that much more better.
I'm just wondering if anyone's concerned about his showing at the NFL Combine. It was very, very poor. He finished in the bottom 5 in most categories and finished dead last in the 3 cone drill. Is this anything to worry about? I mean, if you're taking this pick, And is it part of why he dropped from potentially 2 or 3 down to where he's at?
I can address that a little bit as the
would
person
look
that
at
made the selection. Okay. No, go ahead.
I'll just say, what does the game tape tell you? Like, how do you play in games? Because, and this is me, not just being a Chiefs fan, but Derrick Thomas was a horrible practice guy. Like, if you watch any of the, like, a documentary about the Chiefs, he's like, man, he was horrible at practice. But on game day, dude was a beast. And so I'm going to look at the game film and how does he play against, you know what I'm saying, high-quality players and players that he played against on film. Because a lot of that stuff really don't mean nothing. Cats can be slow in the 40, but then you have what's called game speed. Like I didn't run the 40 fast, but I mean, I was fast on the field. I never got burnt. So. But
what year was this?
High school and college. And I know what you're talking about.
I love you, bro.
I know what you're talking about.
We all played on the flag football team together.
Bro, I love you, bro. Stop it. Let's stop right there. I love you, bro.
No, I'm talking for real though. For real though. It's the difference between game speed and then like running, you know what I'm saying, running on track. Anyway.
Nobody beats the water boy running. Nobody.
Hey, that's a good point though, Will. I mean, honestly, you can put some weight into the combine drills. I mean, when you have an actual stud on the field that is just performing on game day, I think you've got to go back and you've got to look at the tape. You can question work ethic, whether or not he was prepared, so on and so forth. He just may not be good in those drills. But at the end of the day, I think the tape don't lie. I think that's a solid pick. He's a road grader. I think he's going to be good.
Because you know what happens though? Cats be like workout warriors, and they do great at the combine. They're like, oh, where this guy come from? You know what I'm saying? And they jump up the board, and then they end up drafting the guy. He ends up being like a bust, or he wasn't good. Like, you should have trusted the film versus looking at he can lift, you know what I'm saying, 30 times, 275 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Miles Boykin, anybody? Miles Boykin, Notre Dame?
Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick.
All right, guys.
Anybody?
Oh, and we're about to get into. That's a great transition. So, guys, let's talk about this trade that took place between the Cleveland Browns and the Arizona Cardinals. So, initially, the Arizona Cardinals were supposed to pick at 8. However, they did some willing and dealing with the Cleveland Browns, and so now the Cleveland Browns are picking at 8. The trade included this. So, the Arizona Cardinals gave up Patrick Peterson, Hassan Reddick, and the 8th pick in this 2020 draft to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for Odell Beckham Jr., the 10th pick in this 2020 draft, and the Cardinals' 2nd round pick in this draft as well. So I'm willing and dealing, kind of heat up the draft a little bit. So now, and the pick is in actually. So what we're gonna do is actually get the pick. Let's get the pick, and then after that, evaluate the trade and the pick. Commissioner.
With the 8th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Cleveland Browns select CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Oklahoma.
Wow, man.
The Jaguars are on the clock.
What is happening?
I didn't see that.
Did anyone watch a Cleveland Browns game last year? Baker Mayfield got sacked about once every 2 dropbacks.
Yeah, let's talk.
You have to take an offensive lineman here.
For sure.
You have to.
Good point.
But I'm drafting for Arizona, so I can't be. Good trade, I guess.
All right, look, it's open floor, guys. It's open floor. Talk as you will.
Okay.
This move makes sense.
Jaguars are waiting for your pick.
Beast. Yeah, absolute beast. I mean, you're getting some talent. You by now know how I feel about Hassan Reddick. It's a gamble, but if you put him in the right situation, it could pan out. You know, I mean, if they employed him like they did at Temple and the type of athlete that he was at Temple, this could work out. I think he was a little overmatched, bad coaching in Arizona, just not knowing how to utilize him appropriately. Kind of tanked it for him. I hope he can bounce back from a confidence perspective. But if that does work out, it's a nice gamble for not losing a lot of draft capital.
I mean, I don't think it's a great pick. I think in terms of what that team needs, I definitely think the CD is definitely a great wide receiver, probably top one of the top in this draft, but I definitely don't think it's a great pick for that team. When you look at having Odell Beckham and having somebody with his caliber on the team who didn't shine last year, had one of his worst years as a receiver, you obviously looking at protection and Baker Mayfield and what he's going to bring to the field next year. I look at that pick as like a Markelle Fultz to the Sixers. Like they're picking talent. This is a talent pick. This isn't a need pick. It's he's good, he's great. We need to go ahead and pick him.
Well, that's not a talent pick because Markelle Fultz didn't have much.
Well, he was ready to go number one. And if you already have somebody like Ben Simmons who's running your point, you don't need a point guard.
Well, Markelle Fultz had a broke shot. That's what.
That's a conversation for another day.
Hey guys,
that's a conversation. That's a conversation.
Tomorrow's a good day. You can call me. We'll do it.
All right, so look, Dr. Ernest Silva. Hold on, y'all. Dr. Ernest Silva made the pick. Talk to us, sir. Why'd you select CeeDee Lamb here?
Yeah, I apologize for not getting on the right away. I was talking to Jimmy, told him we got our guy. So just wanted to give me a second. But the goal of the Cleveland Browns was to release our uniforms the day we get CeeDee Lamb, so we can show you guys the new look Browns are going to look fantastic next year. So let me just first put that out there. But the real goal was to stack up that defense. Peterson and Ward by itself, elite corners on the field at all times. That's going to be tough to match up with, game in, game out, and then getting Hassan was just kind of a perk to the trade. We wanted to make sure that we were stacked inside the box, and we feel he was undervalued there in Arizona, and so he's going to provide us some great value. Odell wasn't fitting our scheme. We had two alphas in that locker room. It was not working. Now we got a clear 1A, 1B type of wide receiver core with Jarvis and CD, and you look at Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones of the world. You have a 1A, 1B, and it works well, and that's what we're going to do. With this new offensive scheme coming in under Alex, I think we're going to be great, and so we'll have to see how it is. I know about the line situation. A lot of draft left, guys. We should just keep our eyes and ears on the next few picks and whatever happens in the next round or two. But we brought in Conklin to kind of solidify some stuff on that line to help us out, getting some pass protection for good old oh man, who's my quarterback? Oh yeah, good old Case Keenum, and making sure that we'll be ready next year. So yeah, have at that.
I know Ryan has something to say. He's trying to hold it back, but don't hold it back, man. It's Spice. Go ahead.
I'm speechless. First of all, I want to stick up for Odell Beckham a little bit. The guy did have 1,000-yard season last year. Everyone acting like he caught 5 passes for 100 yards last year. The guy had another 1,000-yard season last year under not Case Keenum, but Baker Mayfield, actually, who struggled a lot last year. I get it, 100%. But if you are going to move up to 8 here to take someone you could have got at 10, the trade just makes no sense to me at all. But I made the trade, so I guess it makes a lot of sense. But if you're going to be Cleveland here, why not stay at 10? Get your offensive tackle, or get CeeDee Lamb at number 10, or Jerry Jeudy possibly, depending on what happens. If you're gonna, it just doesn't make much sense to me. That's all, Rick. But as a Browns fan, I'm gonna shut up and just let you guys talk and do your thing. And
I think what I see from is I got Patterson, Hassan, and CeeDee Lamb, and easily in an offensive scheme is gonna have just as much production as Odell would in my offensive scheme.
Yeah, Ryan, I think the question that you've got to ask yourself at this point in time is, you're looking 4 games in. If the Browns are losing, what does Odell do? And if he's not catching enough passes, if he's not happy. Now, I agree with you. I mean, I do think that he catches a lot of flack. He was the model citizen. He was injured last year. I mean, he had a core injury. He had an ankle injury. He was pretty beat up last year. So given that, I mean, he wasn't allowed to shine like he typically does. That being said, he was a 1,000-yard receiver. If they continue to lose, is the investment worth it? I think it's right on the cusp there where you've got to make your decision as to what kind of value you can get. If you're getting an all-pro like Peterson to shore up the defense a little bit, you take a flyer on Hassan Reddick. You go ahead and you minimize the cost by drafting a stud wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. This could work out for them. It's not too much of an alpha, not too much of a personality for Baker and Jarvis. the 1A, 1B concept does work. So it might work out well.
I saved $9 million too. Thank you, Jimmy.
I would just like to say to this, you're asking me to look 4 games in. If I'm looking 4 games in under this trade, Baker Mayfield is now in a coma. Our next 2 quarterbacks are both dead, and we're reaching out to Tim Tebow to try to come in to fix things. Our offensive line is so bad. Case Keenum, thank you. He's dead, so we don't need to mention him if we're 4 games in.
He's a backup. He's dead.
Yeah, well, he's dead. And we have
Mayfield
to shore up our offensive line. Conklin was a great pickup for us, but our offensive line is still nowhere near ready, which is why the trade doesn't make sense. We got a lot in this trade, so I respect you for that, and you saved some money. So you got a ton in this trade, but it really doesn't shore up the kind of stuff the Cleveland Browns need to be shoring up now.
Yeah, just like
trade plus pick equals fired.
Yeah, just like the uniforms, nothing changed.
I got the pick event.
The pick event. That video. I was
the pick event.
There's not much you can do with the
exactly the same.
The Arizona Cardinals won this trade.
The pick event, guys. Let's talk to the commission.
With the 9th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select interior defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. The Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock.
Love it. All right, guys. Let's talk. Why we make that pick?
Well, I came into the draft wanting Javon Kinlaw. He got there at 9, and he was there. So I'm coming away happy. I think he is the best interior D lineman in the class. This guy can play the 3-4. He played a 4-3 D tackle. He really can do it all. I mean, for South Carolina, he was the best player on the team by far. Getting to the pass rush, helped big time in the upset against Georgia. But when you lose Calais Campbell, the best way to help a superstar in the making in Josh Allen is to give him somebody inside who can pressure the quarterback up the middle. So you look at the 49ers, Buckner, Armstead, when last year had Bosa and Forbes wreaking havoc because of those 2 guys. You look at the Bears, Khalil Mack is wreaking havoc because Akeem Hicks is in the middle. So this is why the Jaguars make sense here. You got Josh Allen, now you add Javon Kinlaw, and now this D line is trying to look back at what it did in 2017.
Love this pick. I love this pick a lot. Like, as the person that looked at Derrick Brown and Javon Kinlaw and wondered which one I was going to take at 7 and went with Derrick Brown, I'm glad to see Javon Kinlaw go to a place where his talents can immediately translate. And he's working in a place that has a very talented pass rusher off of the edge that can complement him and that he can complement. I think this is a fantastic fit for this team in terms of trying to make sure that they can get that defense back to, as Kevin mentioned, sort of a yesteryear type of a campaign. And Javon Kinlaw, just somebody as a high character guy, fantastic locker room guy, and a great just on-field, off-field personality. I love this selection for the Jags.
And that's where I was going, good locker room guy, because they are basically blowing it up. You got Ramsey out of there, the Camels out of there. So you're finna get Ngakoue out of there. So just go ahead and take a defensive player and rebuild it.
Yeah, absolutely. Big time culture change, and he's a big part of that, or can be a big part of that.
All right, guys, I love it. I want to hear from one more person. Let's hear from, let me see. Who haven't I heard from in a minute? Let's hear from Shep. Shep, what you feel about this?
No, it's a great pick. Ross broke it down perfectly, man. It's a great fit. You lose Calais Campbell, so you got to refill that spot, man. You know, the Jaguars of yesteryear are known for having a dominant front 7, man, and this is how you start rebuilding that process over again.
I love it, guys. The pick is in. Commissioner, take it away.
With the 10th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle from the University of Georgia.
All right, talk to me. Why we make that pick, Ryan?
The Jets are on the clock.
I took this pick to help Kyler Murray out, obviously. This was tough, though, because Larry is play forever. So, I mean, you could also take Jerry Jeudy here, but in the end, I thought Kyler Murray was more important. So I took Andrew Thomas, who I believe is the best offensive tackle in the draft.
Now, I think this is an interesting thing for me. Why do you think he's the best offensive tackle in this draft? There's several guys who are candidates for that. Worth is still on the board here, right? You got a couple guys still on the board here, and that's my question, right? So why is he the best one for you here?
Well, he's been starting since he was a freshman, for one. And, I mean, that means a lot to me, how many games you play in college and how well you play. And he had great combine scores, which I know not all of you guys read into, but I like reading into him. He had great combine scores, has played a ton of games in the SEC. I just believe he's the best one in the draft. I mean, Willis of Alabama is also a candidate for that, but for me, I went with Andrew Thomas.
I love it. Let's open up the floor. Grade the pick.
I think this pick right here just actually won them that trade that we just discussed. Because remember, they already got D-Hop. Then they get Odell Beckham. They got Larry Fitzgerald. Now they got to protect Kyler Murray so he can get them the ball. That's it.
This pick right here, I think, is
I love this pick as well. This is a dope pick, man. I don't.
The pick isn't bad, but go back to that trade, man. You're going to trade. D-Hop is already there. You traded Odell. They have Larry and Christian Kirk. You didn't get not one receiver back. You're going to draft the receiver? Like, I don't get that part of it.
Yeah, why create a need when you already have so many?
I mean, look. I mean, here's the reality, right? I would bring this up before, and I'll bring this up again. If you bring Odell Beckham Jr. into the scenario with Kyler Murray, there are going to be too many mouths that need to be fed. DeAndre Hopkins, you already know he's got to get his at this point in time. He's out for blood. He's got to go ahead and he's got to prove himself after getting traded and getting disrespected by Bill O'Brien. Disrespected, okay? Larry Fitzgerald is definitely going to work the middle. He's going to get his catches. A nice little safety blanket. I mean, Odell, it's not the cleanest trade. I love the protection. I love this pick. I love getting a tackle here. But Odell is the wild card here because if he's not getting his catches, he might be more of a problem. Now, winning, they say cures everything. I don't think in Odell's case that winning is the end all be.
But do you remember who their coach is and where he came from?
Oh, 100%.
They threw the ball at Texas Tech like 200 times a game. So there's enough for everybody to get fed.
All right, guys, the pick is in.
I hope so.
The pick is in. Commissioner, take us away.
With the 11th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the New York Jets select Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle from the University of Iowa. The Raiders are on.
All right, awesome. Doc, talk to us. Why'd you make that selection?
I think it goes back to a New York issue, protect the investments in the backfield. So we're going to give somebody who can not only pass protect, but also do their run blocking situation. And I think it helps in all facets of the offense. Feel like we have a 1A option already at the receiver. Could have gone Jared Judy, but decided to go with protection. To readdress the trade, just hope the Cardinals can score at least 35 points a game because they ain't stopping anybody. So.
Are we addressing that again? Let's talk about it.
This is going to be a hot topic, man. Hot topic. It's not going away.
Look, I honestly...
I think the Jets...
Go ahead, Kev.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the Jets picking one of the tackles is the main priority. If they stay at 11 and one of them fall to them, which in this case 2 did, like this is like a dream come true for the Jets because what's good is Jared Judy, what's good is CeeDee Lamb, what's good is a Henry Ruggs if Sam Darnold is on his back. We see the guys like Matt Ryan can't get the ball to his weapons because he's always falling on the ground because the offensive line can't stay up. So if you want to protect Darnold, if you don't have the weapons like a Josh Allen gets or a Baker Mayfield has, then you need to protect them and keep them upright. Great pick.
Preach. Who is this guy throwing to though? Like who is he throwing to? Talk to me.
I like Judy here, man. You got to go offense, man. It's first round. You got to grab best play available, man.
The wide receivers are deep though, so
Yeah, I gotta think
You
Wirfs
got-
is the best player available at this point.
You got to work the draft when you have guys like Michael Pittman in the third round. You got
Talk to
Brandon
me.
Ayuk later on in the second round. You got too many receivers on the board that can be elite. Michael Thomas was drafted in the second round behind my Vikings drafted Laquan Treadwell.
But this is New York City, man. You got to go with the sexy pick, the bright lights.
The Jets have been in 10 years. So I mean, why now? You know,
I want to agree with that so badly. You know, my gut wants to go with like, you know, a sexy pick like Judy. But at some point in time, we've got to rely on Sam Darnold being able to make some players better. I mean, this guy's highly touted as a playmaker, taking the extra step, you know, being able to make the offense around him better. He's got to step up, and he's got to, you know, at least, you know, do something with the talent that he's got at this point in time. I mean, you could definitely draft a player, an impact player in the second round, but at this point in time, you got to protect him. The line is terrible, you know, and that actually shakes up his confidence. It actually doesn't allow Sam Darnold to be the player that he should be at this point in time. So address the line. You know, sorry, Judy. It's a sexy pick, but probably not the right pick for the Jets at this point in time.
And it starts. Good. It starts in the trenches, man. If you don't have it starts in the O line and the D line. If you don't have an O line to protect your quarterback, it don't matter what receivers you have if he doesn't have time to throw the ball. And now, like in the case of with the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, he has the escapability, but you still have to provide him that protection to give him time. If you want to get those deep passes, you have to allow time for the play to develop. So you need those offensive linemen. And you can always, like I said, the draft is going to be deep with wide receivers. You can find a receiver in the second or the third round.
All right, guys, I love it. The pick is in. Talk to me, Commish.
With the 12th pick in the MTMV Sports mock draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select wide receiver Jerry Jeudy from the University of Alabama, and the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock.
Ooh, we're going that route again. Miles, why we go this route?
I think we went this route, man, because we have a lot of. I think offensively, it is like what we basically just talked about, a sexy pick. I think Jeudy is what he did last year at Alabama with 77 receptions, 15-1 per. I think his route running is exceptional, and I think what we needed was a great wideout. Our leading receiver last year was Darren Waller, our 6'6" tight end. So I think there was something that needs to be out, a nice wideout who's going to get open and run great routes. Obviously, it's going to be fall out on Derrick Carr and giving him time to get it out to him. But I think Jeudy is his exceptional route running is going to allow him to get open easily, make easy targets for Derrick Carr. I think what we did last year with Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, and Darren Waller, Tyrell Williams to me was a lot more inconsistent. I think when you look at Darren Waller and our tight end, he doubled the receptions of Hunter Renfrow and Tyrell. So he's a big target, and we're going to need somebody on the outside who's going to be able to get open and get open quickly. So I think Jerry Jeudy fits that mold, checks all those boxes. And obviously, I looked at going in defense and looking at maybe a cornerback and bringing that in, but Jerry Jeudy just seemed like the great pick with us having another pick here in the first round. I think we can go defense there then. But if Jerry Judy's available, he's great. Route running is exceptional, so it made sense. It made sense to make that pick.
All right, Jay, we got something coming up. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. I love it.
I think this is the perfect pick for the Raiders, going to a new home, a new stadium, new fan base. Some of the fans will still come over to Vegas, but I still think he could easily be a fan favorite, and his route running is already exceptional. It's not like a guy you're teaching more the minute details of being a receiver, sure, the pro level details. His route running is going to be already there, and with the quarterbacks there, Carr or Mariota, he can be their best friend easily. Whichever one's on the field, he can easily be their best friend and make that transition to a new home to try to have Gruden try to get back to, or try to get a winning culture there. Yeah. This would be perfect for them, and trust me, fans are going to jump all over this one.
Definitely.
Guys, can we talk about the Raiders' defensive efficiency last year? I mean, look.
Efficiency, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look,
know.
I didn't neglect that. I said I had a choice to make a good defensive piece here.
That's all I know is
but
Mahomes scored 28 points in one quarter.
Here we go.
I mean, it was one of Phillip Rivers' lone great games last year. Like, I mean,
Look,
let's talk about this guy.
I don't doubt it at all that we definitely need help on the defensive end, but I'm not with having the 12th pick. You're definitely not going to pass up on a receiver like that comes along in Jerry Jeudy's talent and what he's able to bring to the field. That route running, like we keep talking about, is something that's needed especially for a quarterback who may not be able. It needs to be able to get the ball out. When you're talking about a route running who's able to do that, Jerry Jeudy checks all those boxes. The defense will come, and we have more picks to make that happen. But I don't think you pass up at Jerry Jeudy at number 12.
Yeah,
I just think it's silly to do it.
That's one of the big things for me is that at this position, with you being able to grab one of the top 3 wide receivers at 12, knowing that you're going to come back around again here in the first round where you can wait on another defensive presence. Yeah. I understand the logic here because you can circle back around to one of those potential top corners potentially at that point, or if you want to look elsewhere, it's a more sensible place to grab linebacker 2 or 3 off this board as well.
I knew I liked you, Ross.
Hey guys, but I thought we were just talking about the fact that the draft was so deep with wide receiver talent, right?
Right, but my thing is go ahead.
So when I just think about the offensive efficiency of the Raiders, it was actually quite good last year. Look, guys, you're not gonna have to sell me on Jerry Jeudy. I wanted to pick him with the Jets. I probably wanted to pick him at 8. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, like I love that. You know, from the emotional standpoint. So it's a great pick. I get excited because they need their they need their Amari Cooper. You know, they need their Antonio Brown, like a nice route runner to go ahead and look explosive. And it's Vegas, baby, Vegas, right? But
yes, sir.
But man, they need some help on defense, bro. They need some help.
Definitely. I don't disagree at all. I think this draft definitely has great route receivers. When you're talking about CD, Jerry, Henry Ruggs, or T. Higgins, I think these are. But Jerry to me just stood out from the group. All those wide receivers to me had great years, and they stood out. And obviously, you just at 12, when I know I'm coming back at 19. It just didn't make any sense to pass him up at number 12 because I didn't think he would be available at 19. I know a receiver would be. I don't think Jeudy would have been.
That's a great. That's a great point. It's a great point.
To be honest with you, to be honest with you, a lot of you guys, I think right now, I mean, because we're so rich with wide receiver talent in this year's draft, we could have waited. We could have waited to get them the second round. That's just my opinion. I know there's some that you can just like. Got snatched off the board because they got the talent to snatch them off the board. But you're so rich in receiver talent right now, dude. I don't know, man. you could pass that the second round.
I think that's true. I think that's true for a team that has an established wide receiver on its roster. No offense to the Raiders, but there's all
offense to the Raiders.
No. But you know what I mean? There isn't that guy. Just like you mentioned,
it's
a 6'6" tight end. Darren
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, he had a 1,100-yard season last year. Obviously, he was a big target. We needed somebody on the wideout to make plays and be able to do that. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to come in and do that absolutely immediately.
You better unleash Hunter Renfrow.
Oh, dude's beast. That's my little 5'10" rocket right there.
Right, that's right.
All right, guys, the pick is in, and I'm hearing it's a spicy pick.
Ooh,
the pick is in, and I'm hearing it's a spicy pick. Commissioner, you ready?
I am ready. And with the 13th pick in the MTV Sports Mock Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select quarterback Jordan Love.
With the catch. 29-yard
Buccaneers on the spicy or silly. Wow. Super Bowl?
Wait. We got to hear from Westside. Talk to me, Westside. Why'd you make the selection?
Oh, this makes more sense now.
I love you too, Miles.
Love you, bro.
I love you too, Miles. I mean, the love was just pouring in. Thank you. Just let's be honest with ourselves. Jimmy G has hit his ceiling, and
my God,
that Super Bowl set it off for me. Bro, when you are up at one point, and then all of a sudden, hey, let me decide to throw picks. You could have put these doggone Chiefs away. No shots at the Chiefs. The Chiefs played a really good game.
All shots.
No shots. I'm just saying, Jimmy G at one point, he coach was like, "Yo, did you see the receiver out there?" He's like, "Wait, there was a receiver out there?" Like, honestly, the dude. I see why Bill Belichick was like, "I'll pass. Take this guy." Like the dude is not all that great. We kind of hyped him up because like he was behind Tom Brady, but
the numbers say
his ceiling.
Yeah,
numbers say otherwise.
What's the signal in basketball? What's the signal in basketball for reaching?
Not reaching, my friend.
What do you see in Jordan Love that you say that you take him at this point in the first round?
I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. Jordan Love has the ability to be groomed and be put in a better situation. So here's the thing. I think he needs to go to a winning situation with a coach that knows how to win, not necessarily the big games, but win. You know what I mean? So he can become a winner. You know what I mean? And then when we get into those big games, what he is being taught, oh shoot, well, let's translate that to the field. I believe that Love will show up in those big games and be a big time player.
So you make a pick at 13 for him to sit?
You know what? No one talked about the Raiders, man. Leave me alone, okay?
That's what it sounds like.
First off, matter of fact, who was here? What was here at one point 2-3 years ago? Oh yeah, the Chiefs. Who did the Chiefs go with? Some kid out of Texas Tech.
Yep.
Who was there? They weren't in the Super Bowl the year prior. What?
No, don't even floods, blood. No, don't even floods. Real. No.
That's a reach, man.
That's not. How is that a reach?
I think it's a reach.
That's not a reach. Oh my God!
A valid point.
Bro,
Mahomes did sit for a year, but I don't know if he's on that Mahomes level.
Jimmy G.
No. The argument. Look, the argument here is not that if he's on Mahomes' level or not. The argument here is that the Chiefs weren't in the Super Bowl the year before. They didn't have a quarterback that led them there, like in an offensive scheme that got them into a championship and ahead after 3 quarters. A defense that's great. You don't need Jordan Love. It's a silly pick. Connie doesn't want to accept that, but it's a silly pick to take him at 13. Jordan Love, when you have a capable quarterback who just played in the Super Bowl. You definitely,
again, Miles, I love you and I feel all the love that you're giving me, bro. Like you love me so much, bro, right now. But at the same time, it's not.
I don't know the holes that the 49ers.
There's so many holes in Jimmy G's game. It's time. He has hit his ceiling.
Holes to draft a quarterback.
Hold on.
Hit his
With
ceiling.
all the money that they just invested in Jimmy G, you're gonna go draft.
Hold on, Derrick.
Okay.
Wait. We haven't heard from
big throw in the end, but he wasn't.
Guys, we haven't heard.
I was like, he was making passes. He was completing passes.
For sure.
He made some throws.
Okay.
You did it. You owned it.
All right, guys, we haven't heard from Derrick in a while. Derrick, talk to us, man. What's your opinion on this one?
Bro, with all the money that they just invested into Jimmy G, you're gonna draft a quarterback with this pick.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
Yes.
He's saying yes. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, look, if they're drafting the quarterback at this point in time, it's with the intention of moving Jimmy G, right?
That's the
but who's taking that contract right now?
Somebody will. I mean, it's
somebody will. Somebody definitely will take that contract.
He's a Super Bowl quarterback.
I'm asking who.
Yeah, I don't know nobody.
Oh, I mean,
maybe the Eagles might take him because Carson Wentz he had to reach his ceiling because he can't stay healthy for a whole year. I mean, y'all greatest quarterback is what's your boy name?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. That's y'all greatest quarterback. Y'all greatest quarterback. That's how y'all got a Super Bowl.
To someone that hasn't been in the playoffs.
All right,
bro. It doesn't matter. We got two. We got two.
Since
you've been alive
in the one club, bro.